Hello fellas, and welcome to another video. Today I'm bringing you something a little bit different. We're going to be doing some repairing. So this is a RTX 2060 graphics card with 6 gigabytes of Micron memory. This is 2020 Micron, so not the early Micron. We're not having that type of issue here. However, the symptoms that we see on the screen is typical with memory artifacts, not core. So my also, before I say that, what I have done, I have run mats and NVMT. I don't get any memory errors. It passes all memory tests. But I have a suspicion that it's an intermittent problem because the card worked momentarily. I was playing God of War, no problem. I restarted the computer. Everything was working just fine, flawlessly. But one of the times the game crashed. So as you can see, this is not early Micron. Okay, but I suspect that it's one of these two chips. So we're going to be replacing both of them just to be on the safe side. And I'm pretty sure this will resolve this problem. It's these chips here probably got some solder joints underneath that are cracked, or maybe rip pads. We'll see. So let's get this set up for repair, and maybe you guys get to see how I do this. Hang tight. Okay, so now we got the card on the preheater. This will be heated to 260 degrees. That'll bring the card to around 140, 150 Celsius. That's right where you want to be if you want to do any rework. I will not be removing this plastic fan headers here, as the work is going to be occurring here in this area. So no need to worry about that. I'm not anywhere near any electrolytic capacitors or anything that, could go kaboom with heat. So I will not be needing to cover any of those. We're going to focus on these two chips. The only thing is that you can ask any technician, anyone that does this type of work. Yeah, the computer is already booted and got my solder station over there ready. Is that you see these little capacitors, these little SMDs, resistors here around the memory chips. They tend to move. They tend to move on you. You see those little ones there? Those little devils. So you have to be really careful when you lift these memory chips, when you wick, when you put the new ones on and everything, because any slight touch, those things will move on you, and it's a pain in the butt to get them back on there. So yeah, let's go on with the repair. Okay, so we're going to be adding some flux here under suspect number 1 and number 2. And that should be enough there. Don't need to go too crazy here. This stuff gets sucked in really easy under the chips. So there we have it. I love this stuff. This is really good flux. Okay, so we're just waiting for the for this thing to reach temperature. I typically use my K-type thermocouple over the board, but I already figured out, the timing and the right temperature where this needs to be, and the timing for this here. So I can go without that for this type of small reworks. But anytime that you do rework on memory, you do want to heat the board up. You don't want to do this on a cold on a surface like this, because this board is made up of multiple layers of copper. So it's basically a heat sink. And if you're throwing heat at these chips without a preheater, without bringing up the board to temperature, to proper temperature, you're going to be fighting it and fighting it and fighting it, and you're probably just going to end up doing more damage than anything. So it's better just to get everything up to speed, bring everything to temperature, so to make your life a lot easier and do your job properly. All right, let's get some hot air on these chips and get them off the board. I already stopped. I already see the smoke rising here. And you don't want to use like your hot air gun. You don't want to put it at the top speed. Here you want to go easy. I have it out of 8 different settings. I have mine set to 5. So yeah. And even though I do have a suction cup, I still like to use these here. I like to do things. And remember what I told you about these little capacitors? Yep. I just had a couple of them move there. But we'll take care of that, no problem. All right, we got those little SMDs where they should be back on the board. And this microscope right here is not one of the like those big ones that you see typically with, you know, other YouTubers or other techies use, but this one, it happens to be a good quality. It does have a pretty good sensor, so the image quality is very, very good for this here. It's about $200, but it was well worth it. Display image is on the screen. So anyway, let's go ahead and clean this up because it is messy. So we have to first, this is lead-free solder. So we need to make this, we need to mix this with leaded solder to make our job a lot easier. And it also, it does also help with durability. Lead-free solder is a lot better, a lot more durable than leaded solder. Leaded solder, or lead-free solder, I should say. Lead-free solder tends to crack real easy. And yeah, that's why those cars from back in the days, like many years ago, are still around. And these new cars with lead-free solder, they barely last a couple of years, if any, and they start having trouble already. Oh, sorry guys, I was blocking the camera. I know you guys can't see that, but it's basically cleaning up the joints here, making sure that everything is we got solder with lead now mixed with the or on the pads there that we're going to be working on. And this is why a lot of people complain about Antec. I don't know if you can see it there in the camera, but it's turning. Let me just show you real quick. Okay, so they complain about this. Okay, you see the pads there on the right. They look wide and nice, and these ones here are starting to turn brown because the flux is burning. This is why a lot of technicians don't like Amtech, and they complain about it because blah blah blah. You know, it does this. By the way, this is what the image looks like on the screen where I'm working. But the thing is that if you do this, however, if you're going to be doing this, you're supposed to stay on top of your work. Don't let this linger around for too long, because if you let it just stay there for too long, yes, it will continue to burn. It'll turn the pads brown on you. And by the way, as I am talking to you doing this, believe me, this is not easy, recording and doing this at the same time, holding the phone and making sure that you guys got a good view and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's a little bit tricky, but yeah, so I'm gonna go over these pads here, this one here, especially this one here on the right again, because I don't like the way those pads turn out. They're brown. And so before I put my chip down, I want to make sure that everything is looking pretty. So let me put you back on a tripod. Okay, so before I go any further, let me just put a little bit of more flux, clean flux here. I'm gonna do a little bit more cleaning here because we got a ball here that refuses to give in. So there we go. Okay, that's good there. Let's clean that up. All right, I'm happy with the way this is looking so far. So let's find a chip that we can put on here. This is micron, so yeah, I got 2 of them here that got balls on them. Second here, guys. I know you're just there looking at the graphics card. But anyway, so here are the new chips that we're going to be installing. Let me just focus here. I don't know if you can read the writing there. Sorry if you can't, but this is the best that I can do. So yeah, let's go ahead and get these bad boys installed. First things first, I want to clean this here, this area. I use 99% isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, anyway, that's just what works for me. And all the pads look healthy, nothing ripped, so I am happy about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and solder our new chips back onto the board. We'll go ahead and be adding some new, some fresh flux. There we go. And because these chips have been reballed with lead-free solder, we don't have to spend too much time on them. It's just not necessary. The lead or the solder will melt a lot quicker than with lead-free solder. Lead-free solder melts at 218 Celsius, but leaded solder melts at exactly 183 Celsius. So remember that. This is one of the tricky parts too. You have to be careful as you put these because they have to be within those squares, and they have to be, you have to line them up as close as possible, the best that you can, and your hands do shake. Others have better hands than I do. Mine shake more than I like. But, you can still get it done. You just got to take your time, relax. Sometimes you give it a little bit too much of a push and it can get a little bit frustrating, but comes with the territory. And one thing though, once you start applying heat, the chips will be drawn to where they need to be, but you have to get them as close as possible. All right, we finally got the chips where I want them to be. Let's put some, let's throw some hot air on them. And hopefully we can get this problem resolved. And like I said, I'm doing this on the blind because I cannot, it's an intermittent problem. That's what's going on here. And it's very hard when these chips are playing with you like that. When this problem is elusive like that, I should say. Not the chips, but the problem is intermittent like that. It's very hard to detect. This is not something that, if you go to school for this, they might teach you about it or talk to you about it, but beware that it does happen. In the world of GPU repair, and the 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 chips are already they're installed. They're ready. I don't really need to go this much on them. So okay, now we're gonna let this cool down. But first, let me give you guys a look at what they look up close. Okay, this is a bird's eye view through the microscope. You can see that the chips are in their respective place. You see that dot here? That dot has to match this here. See that? So yeah, and these are 2019 chips, so we won't be having any issues. I hope this resolves the problem that we were having. Oh man, I hate to have to take this apart and put it back together and just to find out that, yeah, the problem is still there, but that comes with the territory. Okay, so let's cool this off, put it together, or I'm gonna put this thing on. I'm gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna run a quick memory test, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, guys, there's the little card. That's the little heatsink that I use for these type of repairs. And as you can see, we got a successful boot. Drivers have loaded. And everything seems normal. Now let's go ahead and, let's do firmware. No. If I do this, this little thing will die with that little cooler. Already as it is, it's probably running very hot. Let's see. Yeah, you see those temperatures there. Yeah, don't want to do that. But let's try, you know what? Let's monitor the temperatures. But nope, don't want this. Let's monitor the temperatures and let's do a quick light run of the valley benchmark just to see if we get any artifacts, because that will be bad news. Just really quick. Okay, that's good enough. That thing was getting, yeah, too hot. So nothing crashed, everything looks good. Okay, we're gonna put this card back together and test it for full stability, and then we'll send it to its owner. While I am at it, before I put the heatsink on it, look what ASUS has done here. So this goes, I believe, let me take a look here. Yeah, it goes, okay, yeah, it goes up like that, right? So it goes like this. So these here get proper contact with the heatsink, but these two here at the bottom, my suspects, do not. They only get about halfway. We don't love them. We only love them half the love. That's why we do this, says ASUS. Okay, we're gonna try to fix that today. We're gonna put full thermal pads on there, and unfortunately, there's nothing much we can do about the heatsink. So, oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, these are 2mm pads. Just in case you're wondering. And by the way, if you notice these coils there, you know what's cooling them? That right there. It's not even a flat surface. It's just tiny contact there. Oh, not the end of the world, but ASUS, come on. You could have flattened that. You could have flattened that, ASUS. Shame on you.
How dare you!
Alright guys, yeah, I've been playing God of War here for a little while now. Temperatures are pretty stable. Unfortunately, my little CPU just can't handle this type of workloads. So it's about to have a heart attack here. Almost at 100%. But yeah, okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was just actually my first repair video on my channel. I don't usually make these videos, but if you guys enjoyed it, please give me a comment and a like, and let me know what you think, if I should make more videos, more informative videos like this one here. I would love to do that for you. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.